Elena, what did you feel about... I burped during that. Hold on. Hi everybody, it's Amanda here, your Cutie of Carnage here for another Cutie Carnage review. As y'all can see, I have my special guest today, Elena.
That's me.
Are you excited to be here, Elena?
Very much so.
So tonight's film review is going to be on a film we just went and saw called The UNSANE, the newest film from Steven Soderberg. You guys might know Steven Soderberg from Ocean's 11, Aaron Brockovich, and you aren't really big. Elena's not really big on directors.
I know who Steven Spielberg is.
Oh, well, of course you do. You know, everybody knows who Steven Spielberg is.
Not everybody.
But we watched UNSANE, which was filmed on an iPhone, which is insane because I don't even own an iPhone. I still own an Android. And that kind of gave us hope. Maybe we should make a film on your
my
iPhone.
phone.
Yeah, we should. Guys,
was it filmed on an iPhone 10? Do we know what?
I think it was an iPhone 7.
Really?
I think it was an iPhone 7. I don't know. I don't own iPhones. I own Androids. I think it was an iPhone 7. Filmed.
I wonder if we would have got better filming on an iPhone 10.
I don't know.
Because, like, if we made a movie, it might would look even better than, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what I mean, Bird? You know what I mean? So basically the story is there's a businesswoman named Sawyer who works for this company, and you know she's very successful. She has a good relationship with her mother, and she is going through a kind of process of getting over a stalker. For a while she is kind of going through like this, I guess, depression, you know, put it. She's dealing with this fact that she was stalked for how long? It was 2 years?
It was a while.
Yeah, she was stalked for like 2 years. So it just shows her kind of like getting over and going in therapy and everything. After talking to her therapist, she gets institutionalized. She gets admitted to this hospital.
To a crazy ward.
Yeah, to a crazy ward. And things progress from there. I guess the best point we could put that without actually spoiling it, because once you go from there, you're kind of spoiling the film.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
After you get through like that past hour and a half, I would say anything past that is spoiling it.
No, she goes into the ward. You don't know what's real. You don't know what's made up. You don't know what's in her mind. You don't know what's real. So yeah, that's the kind of I guess plot points we can go to without spoiling. Come the end of the film, we're gonna get more into spoilers because there's a lot of things we want to discuss that are spoilers that we have a lot to say about. So, first off, I'm gonna ask Elena what she thought about the story of it all. As a whole, without spoiling, without getting into detail, like just your opinion of the whole story.
I can't do an opinion of just the whole story. I have to do an opinion of the beginning and the end, because the beginning, well, you know, I was asking you in the theater, did you bring me to see a horror film? Are we in the right theater? Because the first hour, I didn't like it at all. Honestly, if we hadn't paid the money to see it, that's the point where if I was watching it on Netflix or if I had rented it, I would have turned it off. I don't want this long progression to get into, you know, what's going on in the story. I want something to happen in the very beginning that catches and, you know, holds my interest, and that movie did. So it didn't even seem like a horror film.
And I will have to agree with you on that, because at the beginning I was really interested in it, and then it started kind of losing me. The beginning just didn't have what I wanted. I was watching it, I was just so kind of like, I'm getting, like, I got up and bought nachos, remember? Because I was just like, well, the same thing is happening over and over again. And I get to the point
and that was like actually one of the points that was, I wouldn't say it was a good part of the movie whenever you got up. I didn't really like that part that much, but
that's when it was
one of the more interesting scenes of the whole film.
Well, that's when the story started working, is when I got up. Because, like, I'm the type of person that, like, when I watch a film and something's happening and we as an audience know but the characters don't know, I get annoyed. Right? I'm like, oh, God, come on, show it already, show it already. I like being on the same pace as the characters. I like knowing the same things as the characters. So when I feel like something's revealed, I get really annoyed when they take so long to reveal it to the characters. Depending on the story, but yeah, I was pretty annoyed with halfway to the point. And that's when I was like, hey, you want some cheese? You're like, cheese sounds amazing. So I got up.
And luckily they gave 2 cups of cheese.
Just asked for
5
it.
nachos. But
Yeah. So, yeah. And like, we were the only people really in the theater. There's like 2 other people.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I leaned over and I was like, what did I miss? Because we usually don't talk during the theater, but nobody was there. So like, okay, what did I miss? And she was like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I didn't miss much. She goes, yeah, but it's starting to get interesting now. Nachos, I think the nachos were the saving grace of the film. After I got the nachos, that's when things started going, bah, 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 bah. And I was like, yes, son.
Yeah, like that. The last hours, whenever it really picked up and got good. It took a while. Like an hour, exactly.
Yeah, exactly an hour, but it was amazing.
I mean, I couldn't check my phone in the theater, but it was probably an hour.
The acting was pretty awesome within the points of the film. You had Claire Foy. You had Joshua Leonard. Joshua Leonard was actually in, if you remember, the Blair Witch Project. He was in the Blair Witch Project. The Stalker. He was in the Blair Witch Project, and he was in the remake of The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
It's been so long since I've seen Blair Witch.
Oh yeah, well he was also in the remake of Town That Dreaded Sundown.
I haven't seen that in a while.
So we had Jay Pharoah, who is of SNL fame. I love Jay Pharoah. And then we had Amy Irving. Amy Irving was actually in Carrie, if y'all remember. The mother was Carrie's friend in the movie Carrie. The girl that, at the ending, Carrie comes out and grabs her. Remember when we were watching the film? No, the older one. Remember when we were watching it and she talks to her mom on the phone and went, oh! And you're like, who's that? And I said, that's the girl from Carrie. And you're like, I don't know who you're talking about.
I don't really remember the first one.
Well,
the
original
was amazing.
Well, the original was better. I thought the acting was great in this film. Joshua Leonard was amazing as the crazy stalker dude. And I like Claire Foy. I do like her. Her acting didn't really come to fruition. It wasn't as great until the ending. Like, towards the ending, that's when you kind of felt her. Like, the scene that we're talking about with the room, that scene was amazing. And then you also had Juno Temple. Juno Temple was in a few films. She was in, I remember her most from Horns. With Daniel Radcliffe, she was the girlfriend in Horns. You know the crazy girl that was in the ward with the braids? Yeah, that's Juno Temple. The main person who stole the show for me was definitely Jay Pharoah. Towards the end, his reveal was pretty awesome. Like, his reveal was pretty dope. I was just like, oh, really? Are you kidding me? But yeah, I really did like the acting in the film.
I mean, they were all really good actors and actresses. I mean, I didn't get like oh my god, this is a B film vibe or anything like that. Even though it was filmed on an iPhone.
Who stole the show for you then?
Probably the Stalker. The Stalker, and then next would be, who's the one with the cell phone again?
Jay Pharoah.
Yeah. I really liked him and the Stalker the most. Like, I mean, to me, they really kind of, like, made the movie. Even more so than the main actress. To me.
Well, she got really good towards, like, the end. The certain parts that we're not getting into.
It just seemed like more of it kind of revolved around them versus her. It's kind of like more like they told the story more.
I love how I really like how she played it, though. Like, in the beginning.
Yeah,
like, she was just like, I know how you care about my well-being. Like, she played them employees so bad. Like, she tried to play them, and it didn't work.
I mean, she was really good at what she did, but I still think that the other two did a better job of actually, like, telling the story as a whole versus her role.
Gotcha.
Even though I'm sure it's probably supposed to be backwards, that's not how it's supposed to be, but to me that's how it was.
Like, the cameo of an actor in this film, I won't spoil it, but there is a cameo from a famous actor who, when I saw it, I, like, flipped out. And he had a very short part in the film, but he still was amazing, like always. So our next topic is actually going to be the effects and the gore. There's not much gore. There's a lot of camera tricks in this film. I wouldn't say so much effects, because there's no effects in this film. They're all camera work. But there's not really much gore until the end of the film. The end of the film, there is gore, but it's not so much gore, but blood.
Still not a lot.
Yeah, it's not. So the gore factor really isn't there, but for the story itself, it does play well enough. If they would have went for like a lot of gore, it would have made me fall out of the story. The fact that they like were very simple in their execution of the deaths made me appreciate it more than the actual, like, if the deaths would have happened, if it would have been more elaborate, then it would have put me out of the film more. Being that it was filmed with an iPhone, like, if there's more effects, then it would have been like, what's the point?
Some movies these days just kind of overkill it, and it's way too much. You know, there's no way that technically somebody's going to spark that much blood. Wasn't too little, wasn't too much. It was
just right. So the next point of the review is going to be the visuals. And this isn't the effects, this isn't the gore, that has nothing to do with anything but the visuals of the film. I was very skeptical when I heard that the film was going to be filmed on an iPhone. I thought it was gimmicky. I was like, did Apple go ahead and, promote this film? I don't know. But I was very surprised on how well it looked.
I really liked it, but I mean, it wasn't as bad as like a cam film or anything, like a handy cam or anything like that. I mean, I did like how it kind of put you there in the movie, but at the same time, like, I mean, you're not going to get like a 4K resolution or anything like that out of it.
True.
But, so I didn't really like that. I mean, I do prefer higher quality 4K, Ultra HD, but
3D.
Well, I'm really not a fan of 3D. I really don't like 3D.
Not either.
But, I mean, for what it was still was really good. It wasn't bad enough that I was like, oh, I don't want to watch the rest of this. I kind of wonder if it was, like, filmed on, like, an iPhone 7 versus an iPhone 10. Because I really think if we did a movie together, we'd get way better quality with an iPhone 10. And maybe it was a 10. I don't know. But
I thought it was a 7, though.
I'll have to look it up, though.
I don't own iPhones. I mean, I looked it up. It said it was an iPhone 7, but I don't own iPhones. Like I said, I own Android. So, what was your overall feel about the film?
Overall, it was a really good movie. Of course, like I said, I didn't like the beginning at all. But at the end, it was super intense. Honestly, I'm glad that I was forced to sit through the whole thing to watch it. I really did like the ending. It kind of it compensated for the beginning being so boring, and so the end was pretty intense. I really liked that.
I actually, after seeing the ending, I like the beginning more. I do appreciate the beginning more. I do think it was pretty slow. It was pretty slow in the beginning. After watching the whole made me appreciate the beginning more. Although the ending, that's going to go into our spoiler discussion. After the review, we're going to go into spoilers. After this part, we're going to have the whole spoiler discussion, so I won't spoil anything right now, but I do feel like that ending was kind of like, I liked it up until the very last scene. I was kind of like, I liked it, but I don't know how I feel about it. But I do have an appreciation for it, if that makes sense. I do respect it and appreciate how it ended, but at the same point, I don't know if that made me like the film or not like the film. So I'm still up in the air about it. That being said, I don't think it's as awesome as a lot of my friends say it is. It is pretty respectable. I mean, there's worse. It's a better love story than Twilight. So that was your overall feel. So now, guys, we are about to get into spoilers. All right, Elena, let's get into spoilers. Elena had a few questions to ask me about the film, so we're going to go ahead and do this on the video. Elena, what questions do you have for me about the film?
I wanted to know where the buried guy came into play, because I don't remember.
So you're asking at all. Okay, and the ending of the film, you're talking about the body that they found in the woods,
right?
In the white scrubs.
He's one of the ones that was laying on the table.
That was Gray. That was George. Remember the stalker in the middle when he was giving out the medicine? She says, that's a stalker when you thought it was in her mind.
Right.
And he said, no, that's not David. That is George. He killed the guy that worked there.
And took his identity.
Yes. Because the guy was already working there.
Okay, but how does that work? How do you not know that you're...
Because they played that in the beginning. Because remember the... Okay, so
Well,
like
he
we're
actually
spoiling.
started work. Like,
You remember
how do you
the guy?
not know?
Okay, I'm about to explain it to you. Okay,
My
remember the
George,
guy?
you sure changed.
No. But that's the thing I'm getting at. Remember when they talked about friend Jay, the guy that Jay Pharoah, the friend with the phone.
Right.
He said in the beginning of the film, he pulled her aside and goes, "I can tell you don't belong here." He goes, "They don't pay attention to the people that work here. They just find cheap people that are willing to work for under $10 an hour." And that played in the point of where they don't pay attention to people. And he knew all this because he was in a... When he... Remember his whole reveal?
They flashed that on the TV.
He was an investigative journalist who was going into the ward to write an article, and the whole drug abuse thing he made up. So the fact that he got found in the basement on an overdose, people were like, wait a minute, he wasn't a druggie, foul play. And that's when it came to fruition, when they posted on the video and stuff like that. And the reason he had a phone is because it's given to him by his job. You remember he's laying in the bed and he goes, "They're admitting people. It's psycho. We have to do something about it." And then she looks at him. You think he's talking to somebody else, but
like a friend or something.
Yeah, but he's talking to his... So that's why he pulled her aside. So it all played within reasons. And that played in the aspect of the head woman found the book. She put it in her... She goes, "You should have brought this to me." And she put it... She didn't say anything about it. She just put it away.
Right. Which was one of the...
Yeah.
items that the police came in and confiscated.
I guess
It's a
under
conspiracy.
the... Conspiracy, that's what we're looking for. I've been drinking some wine. It's a conspiracy within itself. And it was so well done. It was so well done on that. And I love the way they went to it. Because at first, I didn't really like it because it felt like it was playing too much on people. Like it was just kind of be like, oh, we're all crazy and who's crazy and you're crazy. But at the ending, it made the film so much better. The fact that she went deep in the story, she got really, really dark. Scene in the ward, solitary confinement where she was in with the other inmate, that was pretty dark. The whole you've never been with another woman, so you need to be with another woman in front of me. She basically sacrificed that girl, let herself get out, and that was pretty dark. Even though, you know, when he did kill her, she felt kind of bad, but she knew that was going to happen. Still sacrificed somebody else for her to get out, so that was pretty intense for me. So
well, she had something that she needed. So
exactly, and it was just so intense and everything. And the death scene of you know, Jay Pharoah, I forgot his name of the character, but his death scene was the saddest scene. Like, that scene really bummed me out. Bummed me out.
That I didn't expect a lot of the stuff that happened. Like, it wasn't...
I knew
like,
he was going to die.
Predict...
I knew he was going to die. Like, I knew
like,
he was going to die.
Whenever she asked him to bring that other girl in there, I didn't realize the reason why.
I sensed that coming because I told you they were going to die. I was like, he's going to get her and he's going to kill her. Like, but I already knew right away when he looked at them talking, I knew he was going to kill him.
Well, but I didn't know her reasoning for asking him to bring her in there.
Well, yeah.
For that.
It was obvious.
Like,
she was trying to...
I didn't think it was obvious.
Well, because she had the...
Right, but I didn't think about that. There's quite a few parts of the movie that I didn't really see it coming. That I don't like movies that you know what's going to happen next and it...
Well, see, that's contrary. I thought it was very predictable, but just because a film is predictable doesn't mean it's not as good. Because I thought it was predictable, but I really did like the character development of the girl. And at the ending, I loved it. At the same point, I don't know how I stand at it. Because at the ending, you know, you realize that she's delusional. And that's the whole... A lot of people...
And see, that whenever he had that envelope that he flashed in the front, there was a... Like, during that time,
mm-hmm.
I didn't know if, okay, is that what she's actually seeing? Or, you know, is that really what's happening? Or is that what she sees?
Exactly. And that's what they play, too. And the ending is what kind of got me is the name of the film. A lot of people gave this film a lot of hell because they're like, I I can't get it because it's called unsane other than insane. And this is why I kind of looked at it. She's not insane, but she is undoing her sanity. And that's how I saw it, is you see it, like, she's going through all this stuff. Like, even when she's in the asylum, the ward, she still has her sanity, even though she kind of thinks, she goes, am I losing my sanity? Am I not as, she goes, I know I'm not insane. And that's the whole aspect of the name itself, unsane. You sit there and you think, okay, well, I'm not insane, but I'm not sane. What am I doing? She's undoing her sanity. So that, the whole aspect, and then the ending itself, you know, when she gets the knife and she goes and she thinks she sees him, but she doesn't, and she drops the knife and she walks out, and, you know, you have that shot with her walking out with everything that she's gone through. Her sanity is kind of unraveling itself, slowly but surely.
I'm sure if you're locked up in one of those places, you start to begin to wonder if...
Yeah, exactly.
When everybody's telling you you belong there, I'm sure you start to question your own sanity.
Exactly. So that's why I think the name Unsane is brilliant. I don't know if I loved it. I think if I watched it again, I would love it a lot. Now that I'm talking about more, I really do like the film a lot more than I thought I did.
I still stand with the points that I pointed out earlier. One of the things that also got me was, you know, at the end it shows, like, the police coming and all that, and it shows, you know, like, the two bodies laying there next to each other on the gurney or whatever you want to call it.
One was Gray, George. One of them was George, and yeah.
But it doesn't really, I mean, I guess it's a moot point because he died. The stalker died, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But even though the cops are there, they see, you know, they're seeing the bodies. They go into the asylum. It doesn't actually say, like, you know, did they actually figure out what all exactly happened?
Well, obviously they did, because it showed the 6 month later point, and she's the head of her office and stuff. So obviously she's gotten to a point of acceptance and realization, because she's been acquitted of stuff. So.
Well, right, but I was wondering still, you know, they may have been able to say, okay, well, she didn't do it, but is he the one that...
Because remember, they found his fingerprints.
Well, right, but, you know,
found out it was
did
him.
They definitely link him to everything that had happened?
Well, yes, they found out that he had to do with it, and the girl was covering, the lady of the ward covered it up, and that's why they handcuffed her. Because they found his journal that she kept away, because he admitted in the journal that he did everything. And she hid it, because she didn't want to be responsible for a killer killing. So she blamed all the murders on certain things and kept the journal away.
Whose journal was that?
It's the killer's journal.
See?
The Psycho Man. Remember when they're going through the locker and they pick the journal up and he goes, oh, he admitted to everything.
I thought that was the journalist or whatever that was.
No.
I thought that was his locker.
No, they don't have lockers. They confiscate everything. Remember? Because the journals were the lockers were the employees.
See, I thought it was like maybe they had, you know, everybody's stuff locked up in the lockers so they couldn't get to it. Like,
they
come in, you surrender all your stuff. They put it somewhere, like, in a locker. So that's another thing that threw me off. I thought that was the journalist.
No, the journalist didn't write anything down. He called them every night and did a blog to them. Okay. That's why when he disappeared, they went on the news and said, we haven't heard from him. And that's when they came forward.
Gotcha. That would have made some stuff make a little bit more.
Yeah, he wrote down all the information of the hospital, right? That he watched her take her pills. He wrote the time that he died. He put those pills in her. Like, he wrote everything down to keep track of it.
Another thing I didn't get was, why did he do that? Like, I thought he loved her so much, so why would you intentionally
Because he's insane.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get
because
that.
If she gets insane, because if she gets out of her mind, then she thinks she's crazy.
Like, it could have killed her.
So just like anything else he's done, it could have killed her.
I just figured he would try to protect her, you know.
Well, he has such a warped mindset of protecting. He killed her mother because he thought that would make her happy.
I didn't really question that because, like, he obviously doesn't love her mother, but why would you give someone a lethal dose of medicine?
But why would you kill somebody you love's mother? Because he even
Well-
said your mother's your best friend. And remember when she was in the trunk and she couldn't see and she felt this body and all of a sudden she felt her mother's necklace and she held her mother's necklace and started crying. He goes,
Right,
"Hi,
but-
mommy." Like, he didn't love her. Yeah, so I guess that concludes our review. We got kind of in depth. We've been drinking wine. It's late, guys. Like, I'm sorry this video is kind of late. If y'all don't know, I broke my tooth. My tooth hurts really bad. I took some painkillers. So it's not hurting right now, but how much you want to bet in a couple of hours? I'm not going to be able to do
When the
this.
pain medicine wears off.
And when the pain medicine wears off, I'm going to stop doing that because I'm going to call you tomorrow morning and start crying. This morning, I was miserable, was I not? This morning, I was curled up on her couch like, oh, I don't want to live. She's like, Amanda, cheer up. She made I couldn't even eat mac and cheese. That's how much my tooth hurt. Thank you again for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget, comment below. And y'all, just remember, life is way too short to be mad at each other. Everybody be nice to each other. So I want to thank my best friend Elena for joining me today. I love her to pieces. And y'all check her out next month. I don't know which film I'm going to make you watch next month, but it's going to be a doozy. So
It's probably going to be awful.
we will see. Bye. Say bye, Elena.
Bye,
Bye.
Elena.
I so love horror movies.
Have you seen those videos where people do vape tricks?
No.
People that make fun of people doing vape tricks. And they're like, watch what I can do. And they're like,